Now, India and New Zealand have formally sealed a landmark free trade agreement after Prime Minister Modi and New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon held a telephonic conversation on Monday to conclude the deal. Now, the two leaders jointly announced the ambitious trade pact, which was finalized in a record 9 months, making it one of India's fastest ever FTAs. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal described the FTAs as historic and landmark, highlighting that it was led entirely by a women-led negotiation team. He added that this is India's third FTA with a Five Eyes nation, following Australia and the United Kingdom, reflecting growing trust and deeper economic engagement with advanced economies.
Historic and landmark FTA, because it's not only concluded in a record time of 9 months. With a developed economy, we are all aware it usually takes much longer. But more importantly, it has 2 or 3 very interesting elements. One, it is our first FTA, which is led by a completely almost non-women, non-men team. It's a women-led FTA. The chief negotiator was our senior colleague, Joint Secretary Petal. All the track leads were largely women. And I must compliment our women of substance taking a lead in finalizing this agreement. The FTA turns New Zealand ties from friendly to formidable, especially for trade, innovation and youth-driven growth. One of the first few responses to Prime Minister Modi's tweet that I just read and found interesting, hence I share it with you. Friends, this is a free trade agreement with New Zealand, which is both comprehensive and forward-looking, reflecting the vision of our two leaders, Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Luxon, to elevate the relations to much higher strategic levels, much more comprehensively, which will not only include trade, education, R&D and innovation, services sector in a very big way, tourism, sports. It's a very multifarious engagement, particularly to benefit our farmers and dairy through technical collaboration, which will help them upgrade quality, productivity, and therefore the incomes of our farmers and dairy persons.
Today is a big day for New Zealand. We have just concluded a free trade agreement with India. Now, this may not sound like a big deal for you, but trust me, it really is. And here's how you'll benefit. This is a landmark trade deal, reducing or removing tariffs on 95% of our exports to India. Of course, that makes it easier for Kiwi businesses to sell more of what we produce to 1.4 billion customers and one of the fastest growing economies in the world. When New Zealand businesses can sell more, they grow, and when they grow, they hire more people, and that creates opportunities right across the country. More jobs and higher wages for Kiwis. Trade already supports 1 in 4 New Zealand jobs, and this deal strengthens that even further because it backs our farmers, our growers, our manufacturers and our exporters to compete and win on the world stage. And this deal will grow the economy and it will build long-term security for Kiwi families. We said we'd secure a free trade agreement with India in our first term, and we've delivered. National is fixing the basics and building the future.
Now, the deal aims to double bilateral trade in the next 5 years and attract nearly $20 billion in New Zealand investment into India over the next 15 years. According to Minister Goyal, the agreement is people-centric, benefiting farmers, MSMEs, women's, youth and innovators across India while enhancing mobility for Indian students and professionals. Under the deal, India will enjoy 100% duty-free access in New Zealand markets, and this is expected to significantly enhance the competitiveness of labour-intensive sectors such as textiles, apparel, leather, footwear, marine products, gems and jewellery, among others. Meanwhile, the pact will support jobs incomes and long-term growth for Kiwi businesses by giving them access to India's 1.4 billion strong consumer market. India has offered a tariff liberalization across 70% of product categories, covering 95% of bilateral trade between the two countries. New Zealand's exports to India are led by fresh fruit, iron and steel, wood products, coal, wool and dairy items, and they are all projected to rise by $1.1 to $1.3 billion annually over the next 2 decades. Now, this becomes India's third major trade pact signed in 2025, following agreements with the United Kingdom and Oman, even as negotiations with the United States and the European Union still continues. The deal is seen as a milestone in India's Indo-Pacific economic strategy and a key step towards the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047.
Students who go to New Zealand to study will now be eligible for a 2-year work visa if they take a degree course, 3-year work visa if they take a bachelor's degree with honors, a 3-year work visa if they graduate in STEM disciplines, science, technology, engineering and mathematics, and a 4-year work visa when they do postgraduate studies in New Zealand. It's also interesting that almost 5,000 of our professionals who are yoga instructors, chefs, Ayush professionals, IT or educational teachers, nurses, caregivers will get professional visas for serving the New Zealand economy. We have been very sensitive to protect all the sectors like farmers' interests in rice, wheat, dairy, soya, and various other farmer products, agricultural products, which have not been opened up with any access. We have also been very conscious of ensuring that our MSMEs and our startups, innovators get big opportunities in New Zealand.